This is another recorded lecture in NCM 106 Pharmacology. This is Ariel P. Paiste. So far in pharmacology, we have studied what the body does to the drug, that is pharmacokinetics, in your LADME. Today, we will flip it around, what the drug does to the body. This is one of the most heavily tested areas on the boards because it's the foundation for understanding therapeutic effects, side effects, toxicity, and drug interaction. By the end of this topic, the students will be able to evaluate pharmacodynamic parameters. Those are your therapeutic index, dose response relationship, potency, and efficacy to ensure safe dosage calculation, drug administration, and clinical decision making. These aren't just theory, expect scenario based question and these exact concepts in a while. This is one of my favorite lines from one of my favorite books, The Slumdog Millionaire, if you know this one, for the bookish people among you. It was the Slumdog Millionaire was entitled Q&A before by Vikas Swarup. It says here he didn't cheat. He lived the answers. I like the opening. I like opening the um, discussion with this one, with this quote, because it captures what pharmacodynamics is really about. Not memorizing definition, but understanding the lived physiologic reason behind each drug response. So, for example, if you're going to live what you learn, then you don't need to cheat anymore. The answer will just flow directly to you. You will know because you have experienced it. If you understand the why, the exam answers follow naturally. Let's break down the word from pharmacodynamics. Pharmaco means medicine, and dynamics means change. So, pharmacodynamics literally means how a drug changes the body. Simply, it answers the question what the drug does to the body. Will we be able to answer this one by discussing the dose response curves, effects on sites or the receptors, and of course, the chemical responses. Let's start with our first major concept, dose response curves, the relationship between how much drug dose give, how much, we talk about dose, okay, before, how much would you give to your patient, and how much effect you get. Dose equals response. Two terms to distinguish when you're talking about pharmacodynamics. Um, the first two are an idiosyncratic reaction from the term itself, idiosyncrasy. It is a unique, unexpected response that isn't predictable from the drug's normal action. It is considered bizarre. We talk about adverse reaction before, the letter B in adverse reaction, which is bizarre. You cannot actually predict that one. Likewise, we have paradoxical reaction from the word paradox. It is the opposite. For example, you have given antihistamine. Diba? We talk about antihistamine in your pharmacokinetics. Antihistamine is anti-allergy. So, for example, it has a side effect, a drowsy effect. However, when you gave the antihistamine for a patient, the patient become super active or hyperactive. That is paradoxical. Another set of terminologies, we have your anaphylactic reaction. We talk about allergic reaction during your pharmacokinetics, so allergy, pruritus, and lesser degree or mild difficulty of breathing. For anaphylactic reaction, it is the heightened, it is the more severe form of allergic reaction, and it is mostly or possibly fatal or lethal, nakamamatay. The next one is your placebo effect. In contrast, it is considered more as a psychological. The more the patient believes a medication will work, okay, the more the patient believes a medication will work, the more positive their actual physical response tends to be. This is the proof that the mind is constant and genuinely influence the pharmacodynamic response or the pharmacologic response of a drug. We go to the frequency distribution curve. This bell curve, it's like a bell, so it's called bell curve plots. Bell curve. This plots how many patient response at each dose. The ED50 is the median effective dose. Median effective dose. It is the dose required to produce a specific therapeutic. We talk about therapeutic, the curing effect of a medication in 50% of a group of clients. When you say effective dose, that's the therapeutic response. On the other hand, we have your median lethal dose. If you have therapeutic or effective dose, we have also the lethal dose or the fatal one. It is the dose of the drug that will be toxic. So when you say toxic, it becomes poisonous. Remember, we talk about this one. Drugs can either heal you or they can either kill you. Now, if we're going to put it like this, side to side, now we're talking about the therapeutic index. So we had this during your pharmacokinetics earlier. The therapeutic index, or TI for short, estimates a drug margins of safety by dividing the mean lethal dose against mean effective dose, or the LD50 against the ED50. The formula is shown like this one. TI is equals to LD50 divided by ED50. Now we're talking about math. Good thing is for nurses, we're not calculating this one. It's it is the responsibility of the manufacturer of the medication. They have specifically included this one in the manufacturing properties or the pharmacologic property of a drug. So, ang responsibilidad lang natin is to go over that little literature inserted in a box of a medication para tignan natin kung ano yung uh, therapeutic index ng patient mo. Is it wide or is it narrow? Kasi we're going to talk about that also. This is also an example of of a picture that I've shown you before, and na-explain na natin siya, so we don't need to expound on this one anymore. Another image representing the relationship between the ED50 and the LD50. The red one is represented by the beneficial effect or the effective effect, and then the blue one is represented by the toxic effect. Medyo baliktad, 'di ba? Eh 'di ba dapat yung blue yung nakakagamot? But it's the picture that I have taken from the internet, so wala tayong magagawa diyan. So the formula was like this one, and then for example, it is shown here that your lethal dose of 50 is equivalent to 0.1. Ay no, nabaliktad. 1.0. That's the LD50. And 0.1 is your ED50. Now, 1.0 divided by 0.1, that gives you the 10. Okay, so this is the therapeutic index of your certain medication, of that certain medication. Bakit kailangan ng ganyan? Bakit kailangan i-compute ng manufacturing institution or ng pharmacy? Because of this one. Okay, we have, sabi ko kanina, TI can be narrow or wide. If it is narrow, it is represented by this sample curve. Eto, medyo maliit yung agwat nila. Okay, kung maliit yung agwat nila, that means a, a small dose can be easily toxic to your client. We have example drugs here. We have your warfarin, that is your considered blood thinner in a much layman's term, pero they can be classified as your anticoagulants. Levothyroxine, that is for your thyroid problems. Carbamazepine, that is your psychotics, and so on and so forth. So this will be your responsibility to go over each drug and look for their action. Kasi a good thing for your generation now, one click away and you can have as many information as you can get. Pero on the downside is you need to be very din naman, discriminative, and you need to filter the information that you need to digest. Narrow therapeutic. We have also a picture here representing a wide therapeutic margin naman. It doesn't mean that these drugs are completely safe. Okay, sabi nga nila lahat ng nasusobrahan can be unhealthy also. So just like in drugs, okay? So nakikita natin dito wide therapeutic margin, sample wide therapeutic index medications as are mostly antibiotics. That's why in the community, 'di ba nga minsan siya yung naa-abuse kasi walang immediate na side effect na nakikita. Kasi because of this one, wide yung therapeutic margin niya, lesser yung chances na napo-poison yung body natin by an unsafe and inappropriate use of antibiotic. Pero in the long run, nagkakaroon ka ng tolerance. Di ba pinag-usapan natin yung tolerance? Tolerance is, in the long run, if you're going to use a certain medication, especially antibiotic for an inappropriate use, yung tinawag natin na drug misuse, nagkakaroon ng tolerance yung katawan natin so that when the time comes that you really need that kind of medication, pag ininom mo siya, nawawalan na siya ng bisa sa'yo. Okay, that's the downside of drug misuse, especially in the antibiotics nowadays. Maybe, sabi ko nga, it's also a responsibility for us to educate the community, especially our family also, at home, not to take antibiotics inappropriately. Dapat prescribe siya. This should be one of the ambush questions. Pag F2F sana tayo, differentiate what is potency and efficacy. Potency is about the dose needed to produce a particular response. Think of it as an onset strength. Onset is strength, however, with a little dose lang. Okay? Nagkakaroon ka ng effect by a little dose of medication or the amount of medication that you give. Even a small amount of medication can give you a particular response. That's potency. Potent siya. How about efficacy? This is the maximum effect. And this is what we desire when treating a client. Okay? Or kayo. Okay? This is more important, the potency. Regardless of kung gaano siya kadami, as long as it has the peak effect, ayun naman talaga yung kailangan natin if we're going to take medication, di ba? Yun yung pinakamabisa. Okay? Ano yung pinakamabisa? That is the efficacy. This is a curve representing the dose effect parameter. Okay, so if we're going to compare drug A and drug B, si drug A, konti lang yung dose na binibigay sa kanya, pero meron ka nang na-feel na effect from the medication. So that's potency. Maliit lang, pero merong epekto. However, for drug B, though mas malaki yung dose niya, pero nagagamot naman niya more effectively yung karamdaman ng patient natin. That is your efficacy. So if we're going to compare the difference, mas potency, dose A, pero mas efficacious naman si drug B. So if we're going to be asked, ano ang mas pipiliin mo? Yung konti lang yung dosage or yung mas malaki pero mas malaki din yung bisa. Okay, so it depends on the case of the patient. Kasi minsan may mga patients tayo na may problema sa liver and kidney. And we talk about this one during our pharmacokinetics na pag may problema yung pasyente mo with these two major key player organs in pharmacology, mas maliit yung ibibigay na dose sa kanila kasi hindi kaya ng katawan nilang i-metabolize. Okay, remember that in metabolism during your lab. We have here a sample scenario. Okay, a client reported taking two over-the-counter medications. Over-the-counter are those medications that do not need reseta or prescription. So tawag sa kanya non-prescripted medication or non-prescription medication over the counter. So drug A is your ibuprofen at 200 milligram. Mas mababa yung dose niya if you're going to compare with paracetamol, Biogesic. Both relieves headache and are equally effective. Okay, so if you're going to represent that in a dose curve response, it should be represented like this one. This is the response and this is the dose. Gaano kadami, gaano naman kataas dito yung response ng medication mo. Okay, so for drug A, that is your ibuprofen, 200 milligram yung binigay mo. However, it reaches the ceiling effect. Pag sinabing ceiling effect, yun yung pinaka-peak. Okay, peak effect ng gamot mo. However, for paracetamol, 500 milligram, and it reaches also the same peak. So if you're going to choose between the two, anong pipiliin mo dito? Siyempre dito ako. Mas maliit yung composition niya, yung dosage niya. However, the same efficacy with drug B. Okay, so it's a matter of choice. And of course, it's a matter of the decision of your professional healthcare naman. Okay? Hindi basta-basta, eto, okay ako dito kasi mas mababa. Pero since over-the-counter siya, hindi siya kailangan ng reseta. So, as a future nurses, okay, so you need to be very mindful of your own decisions, especially when choosing between which drug will be taking for a certain disease. Another sample scenario is we have, okay, tatlo naman yung iniinom niya, but this time it's not a common headache. The patient has an end-stage cancer. Take note of that. Okay. And ang sabi dito, nag-inom siya ng ibuprofen, paracetamol, and at the same time, the patient was prescribed. These two are over-the-counter. Okay, the morphine it cannot be bought over the counter. It should be prescripted kasi dangerous drug yan. We'll be talking about dangerous and controlled drugs. Dangerous and controlled drugs later on as we go deeper with your discussion in pharmacology. Not during this discussion, sa ibang topic tayo. Sabi dito sa baba, only drug C relieves headache effectively. If you're going to, sige, I will give you some time na kumuha ng papel, okay? And then, gumawa kayo ng graph, okay? Gaya ng kanina. Gumawa kayo ng graph na ganito, okay? And then, you try to imagine or to look at the, ang tawag dito? To look at the scenario. Ganito gawin nyo. Response ganyan, pataas na response. And then dito yung dose. Okay, isulat nyo si drug A, drug B, at saka si drug C. Okay, so ito yung scenario natin kanina. Gawan nyo siya ng dose response curve. And then, okay, post nyo muna tong video. Mag-drawing kayo. And after quite some time, you play this again. And then, you see kung tama yung ginawa nyo niya dose response curve. Okay, in 1, 2, 3, and go. Ayan. So the dose effect parameter or dose response curve should be represented like this one. Okay, sabi, si drug C, although small in amount, siya lang yung naka-reach ng ceiling effect or peak. Yung A, which is the ibuprofen, and the B, the paracetamol, they don't render, they don't even have the potency or the efficacy to treat the headache of the patient, the cancer patient. So congratulations kung ganito yung nakuha natin. And this one, supposed to be, this is a graded recitation sana kung nag-F to F tayo. So I will be just calling names, for example, and one will go to the board and explain kung ano ang sinasabi. You can detail out kung anong sinasabi ng response dose curve dito. with regards to the A, drug A, drug B, drug C, and drug D. So, gawin na lang natin to pag mag-F to F tayo. But for the meantime, you challenge yourself. Okay, kuha kayo ng papel and gawa kayo ng ng definition nyo or ng interpretation nyo ng dose curve response na to. Okay, this is enough for the drug dose response curve. We go to the next topic, the receptors and drug action. Receptors. Okay, every organ or tissues in the body have their receptors. Now we need to talk about how the drug works by attaching it to a receptor or a specific receptor in your organ. A receptor is a specific protein located either in the cell membrane or inside the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is the center of the cell, right? So it's either in the cell membrane, the covering, outer covering, that is your anatomy and physiology. I hope you still remember those basic but important aspect or topic in your anatomy and pharmacology. Okay, it is the specific chemical component of the cell that a drug binds to. Okay, this is one. Yung mga receptor natin, sila yung nagre-receive, kaya tinawag silang receptor. They are the receivers of either the enzyme. Yung enzyme kasi, ginagawa siya ng body natin. Now, the body, pag nag-fail siya, hindi siya nakagawa ng enzyme, pumapasok yung mga drugs natin to, hindi to replace them, to replace din naman sila. Okay, to replace them or mag-add tayo ng potency sa enzyme natin kung yung enzymes na pinoproduce ng body natin, they fail to do their work. Specificity or selectivity, okay, describes how a specific drug is for one particular type of receptor. So select, from the term itself, select and specify. Specific, gaano ka-specific yung drugs. Ito, for example, drug, this is drug, and this is the receptor. Gaano sila ka-compatible? That's compatibility. Okay? Kasi pag hindi naman specific or hindi naman selective, hindi compatible sa'yo, hindi para sa'yo. Okay? So parang sa mga jowa nyo din naman yan. So increase specificity, sabi dito, this is the takeaway, clinical takeaway natin. Pag increase yung specificity ng drug with the receptor, then of course, mas mababa yung side effect. Mas mataas yung therapeutic effect, hindi ko lang nalagay. Mas mataas yung therapeutic effect, however, and then mas mababa yung side effect. Kasi selective nga siya. Ay, dito ako kasi para ako dito. So for example, eto, okay, chemicals that cannot bind to this one kasi take note of the holes, hindi naman siya ganyan. So parang sa mga saksakan lang natin. If they are compatible with each other, then most probably mag-a-attach sila and they will be producing an effect. Nagkakaroon ng effect sa katawan natin. Anong effect yon? Therapeutic effect, hindi siya side effect. Affinity, ano naman ang affinity natin? Affinity is the attraction or binding strength between a drug and its receptor. High affinity means the drug binds tightly even at a low concentration. Okay, high affinity. Parang sa compatibility din siya. Pag low affinity naman siya, kailangan mo ng mas madaming concentration ng drugs. So higher dose para mag-bind. This one, lower dose naman. Kasi high affinity na siya. Next topic is the drug and still with the same topic and explain lang natin yung selectivity and affinity para ma-identify natin ano ang drug and receptor interaction. Okay. So sa first part, we have your agonist. It means this one, maganda yung selectivity natin and then mataas yung affinity natin kasi compatible sila. Take note of this one. This is the agonist and this is the receptor. Effective sila, compatible sila, kaya nagkakaroon ng full activation o nakaka-elicit tayo ng effect na ini-intend natin for the patient to have. Okay? So, agonist, a drug that produces the same type of response as the endogenous substance. They possess both affinity and efficacy. Ano ba ang endogenous substance? Yung mga enzyme natin. Sabi ko kanina, yung enzymes, endogenous substances, they are produced from your body. Now, there are instances that your body failed to produce enzymes. So, paano na yung, sino ang gagawa na ng trabaho ng enzyme natin pag wala sila? Diyan pumapasok yung mga drugs natin. So, nagkakaroon tayo ng agonist effect. One example here is this one. Okay, we have abethanicol. Okay, a classic example. Abethanicol is a medication for patients having problem with voiding. Hindi sila nakakaihi. Okay, voiding or peeing. Okay. Now, this one, kung nakikita nyo dito, this is the receptor. Hindi ko ata hindi ko masulatan ito yung receptor, yung Y. That is the receptor. And then take note, yung selectivity and affinity of the molecule from the botanicol, it's also an inverted Y. Diba? Kaya nagkakaroon sila ng effect kasi swak sila. Diba? Nakakakilig. Okay, charas. Tapos, ang gumagawa kasi nito, ang endogenous enzyme natin, that is actually your transmitter. They are considered transmitter. Okay, enzymes. Or minsan kasi, or most of the time, if I'm mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, sa anatomy physiology, your transmitters are composed of protein. Ata, okay, so they are actually the messenger. Okay, so parang kunyari si acetylcholine, pumupunta siya sa receptor and nire-remind niya na kailangan mong gawin yung action na to. Okay, so for example, this is the bladder. Kasi doon nag-aata si botanicol. Kasi di ba nga, voiding, pampaihi siya. Okay, so in the absence of acetylcholine, physicians, especially the urologists, sila ang merong specialization with regards sa problema sa urination. Okay. Sa mga urologists natin, nagbibigay sila ng botanicol to replace or mimic the action of the acetylcholine para gumana ulit yung voiding mechanism. So that's one example, okay, ng agonist. Agonist, positive effect. They are compatible, they have high affinity and selectivity. Nagkakaroon ka ng best therapeutic response. Likewise, or hindi likewise, on the other hand, we have the antagonist. If we have agonist, which is the parang bida, we have the antagonist, which is the kontrabida. But antagonists are not mostly portrayed as kontrabida. They are also bida kontrabida at the same time. Diba mga teleserye natin, bida kontrabida ang tawag sa kanila para maintindihan nyo. Okay, they are against, however, they can also produce therapeutic effect. Okay, a drug that occupies a receptor to prevent an endogenous chemical. So for example, kanina, di ba, meron tayong transmitter. Para ma-block mo siya to engage, okay, on a specific receptor, kailangan mong magbigay ng antagonist. Okay? They do not change the receptor. They have affinity but no efficacy kasi they are the ones blocking. So for example, this is the enzyme, agonist siya, nagbibigay tayo ng antagonist to block the binding of the agonist against the receptor. So nagkakaroon tayo ng less activation. Hindi gumagana yung enzyme na yun. We have an example of this one. Wala tayong example dyan. Okay, kasi enzyme, siguro may example tayo doon na lang sa drug to drug. Kasi we're talking about drug receptors pa lang. Okay, drug to drug. Dito na pala tayo. Drug to drug interaction naman tayo. Anong ginagawa if you're going to take? So parang nung sinabi ko sa inyo, you try to imagine yourself taking in 2 or more medications all at once. And it so happened that you did not dig deeper kung okay ba silang i-take pareho or meron bang nangyayaring hindi maganda 'pag nag-take ka ng dalawang medication at the same time? First on our list is your synergism, from the term synergy, 'di ba? 'Pag synergy is parang, sabay, okay, sabay sila. Okay. It is the combination of two or more drugs which produce effect greater than the effect of those two individual drugs. So sa math, okay, pag sinabi sa math, 1 plus 1 equals 2, mali pala yun. Eh, charot lang. Dito lang siya applicable. Ibig sabihin, pag nagbigay ka ng drug A, hinaluan mo ng drug B, nagiging one effect plus one effect, nagti-triple yung effect natin. Kaya nagkakaroon tayo ng equation na ganito, which cannot be explained sa mathematical equation kasi this one is used to represent lang yung effect ng synergism. Okay, we have a picture in this one. Maybe you can just go again and again dito sa lecture na to, recorded lecture, para hindi masyadong matagal yung recording. Tapos, i-decipher nyo na lang kung ano yung naka-represent dito. That's synergism. Example of synergism commonly that we have in the community, we have your paracetamol and caffeine o yung Rexidol Forte natin. Okay, si paracetamol analgesic, this is a pain reliever. Si caffeine naman, antipyretic din siya. Si caffeine, may ano din siya, meron din siyang anti-pain property. So pag binigay mo sila pareho, okay, nagkakaroon ka ng intense pain relieving effect. Okay, so sinisynergize ni caffeine si parcel. Caffeine natin, di ba, sa ano yan? Sa kape. Okay, so meron ding gamot yan for. So sa mga asthmatic naman na ano, for example sa inyo, who among yourselves, or asthmatics, ito yung mga binibigay naman na pausok through nebulization. We have your ipratropium at saka salbutamol. Dalawang magkaibang gamot yan. Okay, pinagtipon sa isa, so it's a dual anti-asthmatic medication. More of this will be tackled pag nag-discuss na tayo sa drugs affecting the respiratory system. And of course, dalawang anti-hypertensives against the high BP. We have your amlodipine and we have your atenolol. So, one effect plus one effect, nagti-triple yung effect natin or nagiging greater. That is the example of your synergism. Next na terminology natin with regards sa drug-to-drug interaction, we have your potentiation. Di ba we talk about potency a while back? Si potency, okay, small amount ng tawag sa kanila, nagkakaroon siya ng effect. Okay. So, sa equation naman natin, kung si synergism 1 plus 1 equals 3, eto naman 1 plus 0 equals 2. Oh, paano mo i-explain yan sa math? Okay, 1 plus 0 equals, it means that drug A is in active form, si drug B, naka-inactive siya. Okay? Oh, inactive. Wala siyang bisa. Okay, pero pag pinagtipon mo silang dalawa, you take them both at the same time, si A, ina-activate niya si B, nagkakaroon ng effect. That's potentiation. Okay? That's potentiation. Again, is A, si A, okay, active siya, plus B, na inactive. Okay, when you take them together, nagkakaroon ng effect. 1 plus 0 equals 2. Nagkakaroon ka ng effect. Mali-mali yung tinuturo ng pharmacology teacher na math equation. Okay, so last na drug-to-drug interaction natin, we have your antagonism. We talk about agonist and antagonist. Okay, antagonist. Kanina si antagonist na diniscuss natin is more on drug to receptor interaction, pero same lang din naman sila ni drug to drug interaction. Okay, nagkaiba lang siya sa isang player. Kung kanina si receptor, ngayon si drug. Pero the same sila ng mechanism. Two drugs opposing each other. Dito pumapasok yung discussion natin sa pharmacokinetics dati na antidote. Okay? Antidote. Yung isang drug, it nullifies, pag pinagtipon mo sila, it nullifies the effect of the first drug. So, nagkakaroon ka na ng zero effect. Nagkakaroon ka na ng no effect at all. Wrong spelling. Nagkakaroon tayo ng wrong effect. Ay, bakit wrong effect? No effect. Okay. So, ulit, antidote. Kaya tinawag siyang antidote. Nagbigay ka kunyari ng unang gamot mo. Okay? And it so happened that that drug is toxic. O, pag toxic, di ba, poisonous. Nagbigay ka ng antidote. Okay? So, nananalify yung effect na ng first medication mo, which is the toxic one. Okay, that's the explanation. Ang binigay ko dati na explanation sa inyo, si opioid, di ba, which is a pain reliever. Eh, ang opioid, ito kasi mga medications, kasali siya kanina sa narrow therapeutic index natin. So, pag narrow, higher yung risk ng poisoning, kaya meron siyang antidote. Ang antidote ni opioid ay si naloxone. These are just example, antidotes and memory trick in order for you as the future board takers, okay? So you need to be very, very prepared na ganito. Kasi pag kunyari, remembering na kayo, nasa review center na kayo, ganito ang gagawin nyo kasi. In order for you to remember those things that you discuss or the information that you have gathered during your formation week, formation years sa College of Nursing natin. And remember, you cannot really remember something you do not know. Okay, so you need to know every concept first, familiarize them, understand them in order for you to apply them and um, memorize them in the future. Kasi for example, this one, paano mo siya malalaman na antidote siya kung hindi mo alam kung ano ang antagonism, di ba? Sa pharmacology. Eh syempre kailangan mo malaman muna yung antagonism bago ka mag-memory tricks ng mga ganito na antidote. O ayan na si opioid natin. Okay, meron tayong memory trick dito. No more opioid. Sabi niya, so Narcan against opioids. Ito yung favorite ko pala. Warfarin, sabi niya. Ang favorite ko dito, since vitamin K or vitamin K if you are nasty. Okay, veteran. Veteran kills the war. During war, vitamin K kills warfarin. Sabi niya, veteran kills the war. Vitamin K kills the warfarin. Ito naman, example pa. Heparin. Okay? You need to seek help, heparin, from a protamine sulfate, sabi niya, to stop the bleeding. You need to seek help from a protamine. So those are just memory tricks in order for you to remember those things. Beta blockers, we have glucagon, benzodiazepine, which is antipsychotic, flumazenil, acetaminophen. O, take note, yung acetaminophen natin na favorite natin sa pain. Yung mga galing US ang tita at tito, Tylenol, Kinemarut. Okay, pwede din siyang nagkakaroon ng drug toxicity. So, ang antidote natin dyan, acetylcysteine, magnesium sulfate, we have your calcium gluconate, Detoy. We'll be talking about this one during your drugs affecting the reproductive. Or baka ma-encounter nyo na din ito, dalawa, pag nag-duty na kayo sa OB ward. Kasi yan yung mga favorite na medication for pre-eclampsia. Take note of this term. Malalaman nyo dyan pag nag-duty na kayo sa OB. Receptor regulation, nasa ang slide na tayo. Mukhang malapit na tayo. Time check sa recording, 40 minutes. Okay, 40 minutes na akong nagdadaldal dito. Receptors regulation. Paano naman natin nire-regulate yung mga receptors natin? Diba, meron tayong antagonism, agonism kanina. Ano naman yung effect sa katawan natin ng receptor regulation? We have two terms for that. We have your desensitization and hypersensitization. Ito na lang isipin natin. When we talk about desensitization and hypersensitization, we talk about allergic response. Okay, allergic response. Now we have a certain trial for patients with specific allergies. Yung desensitization is the attempt na maging compatible yung katawan mo sa allergy mo. Okay? Yung na-tolerate, that's the term. Until yung body mo na-tolerate niya yung allergic response. Until such time na hindi ka na allergy. Okay, may mga ganong instances. So for example, you are allergic to seafood. And sabi na, pag safe pag safe. Pag hindi safe, kasi you need a specific physician or specialist for this one. We have the allergologist. I'm so sorry, hindi ko ata maalala kung allergologist siya. Basta sila yung allergo. Kasi tinatawag namin siyang allergo. I'm so sorry, tignan nyo na lang kung ano yung proper term. Allergo ang sinasabi namin sa kanya. These are the professionals who specialize in allergic reaction. Dapat, pag nag-desensitize ka, you need to undergo a specific assessment, okay, or a thorough assessment from allergo para makita niya kung safe yung desensitization. They need to introduce a small amount of that allergen from time to time until masanay yung katawan mo. Yun yung ibig sabihin nun. In some cases, sa mga kunyari sa atin sa Pinoy, di ba, may mga allergies tayo pero minsan, or most of the time, walang namamatay sa allergic reaction kasi malakas yung combative uh, action ng natin, ng defense mechanism, okay, against allergy. Unlike sa mga nakikita natin sa news or sa movies with regards sa other countries, foreign countries na kumain lang sila ng mani, tapos nahirapan na silang huminga, tapos natitegi na sila. Okay, so hindi safe ang desensitization pag ganun yung situation. Kasi you need to introduce your body with the allergens until such time magkaroon ka ng tolerance sa allergy. Sa hypersensitization naman, it is the rebound effect. Kung si desensitization, naging tolerable na yung allergy sa'yo, si hypersensitization naman, for example, nawala yung allergy at quite some time, pero it suddenly came back and it becomes worse. Kaya tinawag siyang rebound. Hindi rebound sa relationship yan na iba yun. Worse, nagiging worse yung scenario and it can be fatal. So take note of this one because a lot will be talked about allergy. That is why before anything else as a safety measure, lalo na sa mga pasyente nyo in the future or even you and your family, if they will be taking new medications, you watch out for, ayun na yung watch out natin. Watch out for signs of allergies. Signs of allergies may be mild to severe difficulty of breathing, tightening of the throat, parang, anong tawag dito? Parang hindi na siya makahinga, may shortness of breath, and of course, nagkakaroon siya ng rashes, yung tinawag natin dati na pruritus. Okay, this will be the activity sana. Pagkatapos ng F to F natin, sabi ko nga, di ba, outcomes-based education tayo, we need to produce a certain output to measure your understanding on the concept that have been presented to you. Yung present natin ngayon is pharmacodynamics. That is why we'll be opting to present to you with this case-based pharmacovigilance analysis. Pharmaco, it talks about your medication vigilance, how well versed, okay, how well do you know your medications and especially their side effect. Eto yon. So, classroom case round. Eto na, ibibigay ko na sa inyo yung this is the objective. Bibigay ko na sa inyo yung steps para pag nagkita tayo next Thursday, we'll just go with the activity. The class will be divided into smaller groups. I will be determining kung gaano kadami o kaliit na members meron sa isang grupo. So let me do that part. May bibigay akong case scenario sa inyo for you to analyze. Each group, you need to have your own leader at saka secretary kasi magsusulat kayo. Now, for this one, you need to look up. Oh, i-omit ko ata sana to eh. Para mas madali tayong mag-facilitate, para mas madali niyong maintindihan. You need to look up for a Naranjo scale or Naranjo. Okay, tignan niyo kung ano siya, ano ang ginagawa at kung para saan si Naranjo or Naranjo scale natin. Okay, this is the measurement or the parameter to measure the link between the drug and the reaction. And then you will need to have your spokesperson i-represent in front. Okay, sasabihin kung ano yung na-analyze nyo. And of course, mag-aasa ko kung ano yung mga measures na gagawin natin if you will be seeing those kind of findings in your patient. Okay, that's the end of the slides. So thank you so much for your time. You can go watch this over and over to be familiarized with the different concepts. I need you to have your written notes also, which will I be checking before the midterms. So God bless you all. Thank you for listening.